Psalm 67 is our psalm appointed for the 11th Sunday after Pentecost, and it is part of this whole theme of all peoples being blessed in Jesus. It's very brief. Let me read it to you. May God be gracious to us and bless us and make his face to shine upon us, Selah. That your way may be known on earth, your saving power among all nations. Let the peoples praise you, O God. Let all the peoples praise you. Let the nations be glad and sing for joy, for you judge the peoples with equity and guide the nations upon the earth, Selah. Let the peoples praise you, O God. Let all the peoples praise you. The earth has yielded its increase, and God, our God, shall bless us. God shall bless us. Let all the ends of the earth fear him. I am looking forward to the day when we are chanting the psalm, the appointed psalm, together again. It did my heart very good this past Sunday to hear you singing the Nunc Dimittis, the words of Simeon from Luke chapter 2. Lord, now you are letting your servant depart in peace. As you were singing that, there was a brief moment where I just had to stop because of what you were doing for me. You know, St. Paul tells us in Colossians chapter 3, he commands us, let the word of Christ dwell in us richly. And then he tells us how. He says, teaching and admonishing one another with psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. Okay? We have the word of God together, and we inculcate it in each other by singing it together to one another, and singing with gratitude in your hearts to God by means of psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. And I need that too. And thank you for doing that for me. And speaking thereof, there's that funny word, you probably noticed it as we read it. A number of psalms have it, that word Selah. It's spelled S-E-L-A-H. No one really knows quite how to translate that. There's a bit of speculation about what it means. Because it's there in the text, we put it there. We have such high esteem for the Word of God that even when we can't fully translate it, there's no way we're going to take it away. For what it's worth, speculation, and I find this plausible, is that word is some kind of a musical indication. Those of you who've ever read any music or written any music know that we will occasionally put in signs or words that tell us something about the performance of the music, how to go about it. Selah might mean pause and reflect for a while, or maybe have a little instrumental interlude. I don't know. This psalm puts together a couple of themes that fit the day. The first is this, that God's blessings are for all peoples. Let the nations be glad and sing for joy. Right? It doesn't matter if you're a Canaanite or a Jew, if you're a North Korean or an American. Doesn't matter. Let the nations be glad and sing for joy. The other, it just simply reflects the time of the year in which we find ourselves. The earth has yielded its increase, and God, our God, shall bless us. If you drive outside of Chicago right now, you'll see that the field corn is thick and voluptuous, as are the soybeans. Those of you who are growing vegetables in your yards or in our community garden, tomatoes are heavy, and tomato vines are heavy with fruit right now, as are the squash vines and beans. It's just that time of year. It's very fruitful. And I don't know, I don't think it's a coincidence, but it's kind of convenient that we have this reading from Matthew 15 of the woman from the region of Tyre and Sidon, which is exactly the region that Elijah the prophet went to 800 years before Christ during a famine, to the widow of Zarephath, a 3.5-year famine. And God provided for that widow and her household, even in the midst of famine. And that's true for you and me as well, too, that God provides for us even in some very rough times. Our next reading will be from Romans chapter 11. We'll take that up in a moment.